Well, hello everyone, Dan Hurd with Dan Hurd Prospecting here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome. I hope to earn your subscription today. If you're used to watching my channel, you have seen many times over me use the tools known as Feather and Wedges to split rocks, to break off ocean picture stone, to get into quartz seams at my blue chip mine, all sorts of things. Today, I thought I'd talk about Feather and Wedges, show you how they work, split some of these massive rocks, and just have some fun breaking rocks. Hope that sounds like a lot of fun to you, because it sure sounds like a lot of fun to me. Wish me luck, and I hope you enjoy. Now, often I like to answer people's questions, comments, concerns by doing entire videos on the subject in question. On one of my last videos where I was breaking open that ocean picture stone, that great big beautiful piece, in that video, I had some commenters comment that saying, Dan, you don't know what you're doing it all wrong. You're not a real mason. That's true, I'm not a mason. I don't know, I'm not in masonry, stonework. I am a prospector. I use the feather and wedges the way I need them. But their comment was true. I am not necessarily using them correctly when I'm just in a rush to break up some rocks. So in this video today, I thought I'd show you how they're used correctly, teach people that might need to learn how to use them, and explain what I do differently when I need to. That's enough talking. Let's break some rocks. Now, no, I'm not trying to prevent getting COVID from rocks. No, I am wearing a mask because drilling into rocks creates dust that is very dangerous for your lungs. Now, of course, I will explain everything from drilling to what they are, to how to use them, to how to hit them properly, timing, everything. I just wanted you to see it once, in action, first. That was just a small rock. Let's go bigger. So let's talk about this tool a little bit. It's known as a feather and wedge. The two side pieces are the feathers, and strangely enough, the wedge down the middle is known as the wedge. And on some of them, they have a little rubber retaining ring. Some of them, the pieces are loose. They usually come in packages of, 5 or 10 or something, because it takes multiple feather and wedges to break bigger rocks nice, smoothly, and straight. Though often I get away with just one if I'm just doing a rough and crude break. And I do sell these on my website in packages of 6 with its own drill bit. Now, I mentioned in one of my previous videos that this is a very old historic way of splitting rocks, but after a little bit of research, what I found is actually this method didn't really come into use well until the mid-1800s, when, metallurgy got to the point where we could drill holes in rocks easier. Before that, they had other methods of splitting rocks, but for the last couple hundred years, this has been an easy way for rock masons to split rocks and make cubes, blocks, whatnot, easy for construction or other reasons for breaking rocks, like me in lapidary work and mining. So I'm wrong. This is not Egyptian times, technology. This is actually 1800s technology, but it works really well today still. And of course, with today's modern technology, we get these carbide end drill bits for drilling through rock fairly inexpensively. We have power tools to do our drilling for us. We don't have to do it by hand with the, star-shaped hand chiseling drill bits like they did back in the old days. We get to use power drills. We get to drill holes quickly, and within a few minutes we can have a bunch of holes drilled with feather and wedges in and splitting rocks. Unlike the old times where they took these chisels that they hammered with sledgehammers, hammered it, turned it a bit, hammered it, turned it a bit, hammered it, turned it. Oh, it would take forever to drill a hole. We got technology now. Now I typically use my Milwaukee hammer drill with the masonry bit with the rock bit on the end there, though I do have also 2 bigger drills that I can run off a generator if I need to, drill more holes, get more power, drill for longer than the battery can hold. We do have other options, and I'll bring both of those out today. For the first rock I split, was just a small rock, 2 feather and wedges did it, no problem, got a nice straight cut. My next one, I've got a much bigger rock here. I'm going to try to get away with 3, 1, 2, 3, and see if I can make a nice, good cut through that beast. Okay, let's talk drilling for a second. Doesn't matter what kind of hammer drill you're using, you want to make sure that the bit is not being forced. Don't push down. Let the bit do its thing. Sure, support it, keep it straight, keep it firm, tiny bit of pressure down on just so it doesn't bounce around in the hole. But don't push. If you push, you'll wear out your bits quickly. I tend to push too much. I tend to wear out my bits quickly. But don't do that. Your bits will last a lot longer if you just go slow. And it will actually probably drill every bit as fast as if you're not pushing. Let's drill. Dust mask is important. The dust that comes off here is really bad for your lungs. Now you only have to drill deep enough for the wedge to get all the way down into the hole. So you don't have to go any deeper than that. If you have a long drill bit, you can put a piece of tape around it to mark where that is, or I actually have the drill bits that are the right length for the wedges. So I know that I can go a certain depth and I'm good enough. Often, I don't even go the full depth of the wedge. I know that these things will split before they get down all that far. It looks like I need to go a little deeper on some of my holes. That one's pretty good. That one's pretty good. Center one needs to go a little deeper. And there are different sizes of feather and wedges. I'm using one that takes a 5/8 hole because 5/8 drill bits are really cheap. Why am I trying to talk to the camera with my mask on? I don't know. Now, some people say you should blow the dust out of your holes. I find that a little bit of dust in the bottom of the hole when the wedge gets down there doesn't really affect it. The wedge just sinks into the dust, no problem. So I don't bother. I often just sort of brush the dust away from the surface. We'll give it a nice clean surface here so you can see the crack form. Bring the wedge out near the top of the feathers and put it in, making sure that it is in line with the other holes. I'm using 3 holes to split this, about 6 inches apart, about 6 inches deep, and this will split, no problem. Get them down, seated down as far as they'll go. And here we go. No, I'm not going to use my hand to hammer them. You don't need a big hammer to do this. In fact, this little 4-pound sledge is probably too big. And some people were giving me a hard time because I was choking up on the hammer a little bit as I was hammering in my last video. And that's because I don't need to hit these things hard. You don't want to be wailing on them. The biggest complaint I had about that video where I was splitting the ocean picture stone is that I was forcing the chisels too much. I was hitting them too hard, too fast. You have to let them do their job. You tap all of them, get them solid, give it a good little tap, and then let it sit and do its thing. Let the pressure sort of equalize in the rock and they start pushing apart, creating little micro fractures. The fractures need to line with each other. It needs time. When I'm doing my ocean picture stone, often I go too quick, and that's because I'm not worried about getting a perfect straight line. Give it some time. Hammer them a bit more. Let's get the camera in line so you can see the crack form. They say 30 seconds. I'm not that patient. I heard it go. I heard a pop in there, and I see a crack forming. You might be able to see it going right down there. I'm about to pull off this front face. Here we go. Unfortunately, there was a flaw. There was a weak spot in this rock. So it went down to it and then went along the weak spot. Little wedge chisel here should just separate it nicely. There we be. Now I just put the feather and wedge back in so you can start to see how it goes down into the drilled hole. You see the half drilled hole here? It goes down like that. In fact, it was that way. But this gives you an idea of what it should look like as it goes down into the rock. So we did small, we did bigger. Let's find a big, big one. How about that beast? That's huge. Let's see what we can do with it. It's gonna take a lot more than 3. And I'll show you some tricks with that one of how you can try to make the crack go in a bit straighter line. Possibly. Alrighty, there we go. 7 holes along the rock in a nice straight line. I slipped a little bit with that one. It's slightly over. That's not good. Try to keep them in a straight line. Now, to show you a trick. So in order to start the crack going in the right direction and start the micro fractures forming, you can give a little score mark where you want the crack to start. Now masons have proper chisels on hammers to do this. I don't, I only have my cold chisel. So there we go, a score mark all the way down, right in line with those holes. Just helps the crack start its microfractures forming, connecting up hole by hole by hole, and going in one direction. It's unfortunate I got that one hole out of alignment. Oh well. Well, here we go. 7 feather wedges, 2 cameras on the stone, 1 handheld. Let's see if we can split this rock. I don't know if those cameras will stay there. Now it's about this stage here that you start worrying, is it gonna go? But I do hear little micro pops and pings. Oh, it's going as we speak. Can you hear it? The rock is making all sorts of pinging noises just as it sits there. There's so much force built up inside that rock right now, it's just breaking apart. Let's give it another set of whacks. One thing I have noticed though is it's a nice perfect line all the way through them. Then it gets to the bottom one and seems to go right sideways. You can see the crack going right sideways. So it didn't follow down. Really should have had 2 more. But we're gonna get the top off nicely. And there it is. Nice crack right through it, in the line of the feather and wedges, until I stopped them, and then it went out sideways. Now I might need a pry bar in here to actually separate this rock. I was hoping it would fall off, but it didn't split right down through the bottom. It kind of went out the side halfway down, so it's not actually falling. Kerthunk. Okay, and it's another trick. Grab your feather and wedges before you get the rock apart. Otherwise they fall all over the ground. Oh, like that one. There we be. There's the nice split. You can see the feather and wedge, the drill marks along the one side. Beautiful, beautiful chunk of hard granite. Not even granite. I'm not even sure what the rock that is. Beautiful chunk of it though. Now, Stonemasons will tell me what I did wrong here. I didn't leave enough time between hitting it. I probably should have had the feather and wedges go all the way around the rock, not just down that one edge. There are things I could have done better. Again, I am not a stonemason. I'm a prospector. I break these rocks open to see what's inside, not to get perfect cuts for building, stone walls from. And that definitely wasn't a perfect cut. And when you're cutting these rocks, you do have to watch for the natural tendencies of rocks. Some rocks just like splitting the surface off rather than breaking right through. Obviously this one, it didn't want to go down through the center. There are no actual cracks or anything that guided it off to the side like that. It just didn't want to go through. And then you have rocks, so like this one that have seams all through it. The cracks should go down and hit one of those seams and just jump off the edge probably. This guy here, great piece of feldspar granite, but it's got a crack in it. If I was trying to cut it through this way, the cut might go until it hit that crack and then just stop. If I could crack it along the crack, obviously, easily, but you gotta watch for that. Some rocks, like this pure piece of granite, there was no flaws, it cracked easily right through the center, perfectly flat, perfectly easily. There's gonna be a whole lot of half rocks around here by the time I'm done. These are all big coarse tailings from our Trout Creek operation, and once we are done digging the main pit up there, we will take all of these rocks, put back in the pit, and then cover back over with topsoil and plant. See if I can get a shot of the main pit from outside the safety barrier. Because I don't have my safety gear on right now. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's already like 35 degrees Celsius. It is cooking out here. It's supposed to get up to 41 tomorrow. Whoa. Need to jump in that creek and cool off. Anyhow, I use these feather and wedges all over the place. I'll leave some pictures here of me at the Blue Chip harvesting gold ore, and me at the Ocean Picture Stone harvesting Ocean Picture Stone with feather and wedges to show you what I do with them. Masons use these to crack open big blocks of granite and marble so that they can make, rock walls, build buildings, that kind of stuff. The crack formed. There it is right there. I see another one going back that way. Right through. I'm getting this off. If you're trained in them and really know what you're doing, you can get perfect straight cuts. Oh yeah. That is the way to slab this stuff off. I want to say every time, but more often than I do. I just use them to break rocks that I can't otherwise break just with my hammer and chisels. And no, I'm not allowed to use the microblaster anymore. I was contacted by the ministry, and even though it falls underneath the explosives threshold, they said, bad, Dan, bad. No, you can't do that on a mine site. Strangely enough, I could do it at my home, but I couldn't do it on my site. That's why you haven't seen the microblaster on my channel for a while. And it's that easy. Beautiful cut. Look at how perfectly flat and straight that cuts that rock. The marks from the drills at the top, perfectly straight, flat granite piece. I might take that one over to the little campsite that's over here and put it beside the fire. That's a great little stone for putting your coffee pot on to keep it warm while you're camping. Well, I hope you all enjoyed my little demonstration of how to use a feather and wedge and what I use them for versus what maybe a mason uses them for. It is smoking hot out here. I'm gonna have to call it quits at that. So big thanks to everyone for watching, especially my patrons. Because of the support of my patrons, I get to make these educational videos, the weekly episodes of Dan Hurd Prospecting. Hope you're all having an amazing day out there. Again, if you want feather and wedges, I sell them on my website, www.danhurdprospecting.com. Hope you're all having an amazing day. I am, even though it's too hot. And until the next video, everyone. Bye! Why do I have this on still? Ugh.